I mean, I felt like I did have something to prove. I almost died there.
Long Kiss Goodnight.
I know. They didn't want me to come out with the title. I didn't tell Lisa that I was not retiring.
Could you tell me what happened at that WrestleMania when you did that censored moment?
I'll just tell, whatever.
Welcome everyone to Ring the Belle. This is DS, and I am here with the freaking legend, hardcore country, Mickie James here.
Oh my God! Yay! I'm so happy to be back.
I'm so excited because the first time we chatted, it was over the Zoom call.
It was.
And we talked about our top 5 moments of Mickie James back then, but 5, not enough. Not enough for the legendary Mickie James.
Come on. There's at least got to be 7.
At least 7.
Maybe 11.
Maybe 11. So we're going to do part 2 of top 5 moments with Mickie James. Another 5 moments that the women's wrestling submitted. They love it. Are you ready for this?
I think so.
All right.
So.
Let's start with the first moment.
The present.
Yes. It is the psycho Mickie James kidnapping Ashley Massaro for the WrestleMania feud. Oh my God.
This whole, the people and just like I think just this angle, the whole thing, the whole story, but just the different elements and people involved in it. But this part, and then do you think I'm psycho now? Ashley, huh? And then my nose got busted.
Right.
I don't know if you go back, like where she hit that forearm on the floor and you saw me go down, like, oh God, oh my face. I think it made for the moment though, with the blood. But I wish that in the moment, like you have these like hindsight moment, and you go like, oh, I wish I would have just wiped it all over her
even
face,
more.
all down her. You know, it would. Oh, but I was like, oh, I don't want to get my blood on her.
Like when you were kissing Trish with the blood dripping, I was like, oh my God, that is so disturbing.
You can literally see it drop out of my nose if you. Not that I've watched it a million times or zoomed in or anything.
Do you watch your stuff back?
Sometimes.
Only the good ones?
No, I've watched the bad ones. I'm super critical on myself when I watch my stuff back.
Okay.
I need to watch it back more, but I do watch. I mean, I watch it, but I feel like I'm so critical that I don't actually enjoy the moment until a while later, like when you're reminded of like, oh, that was a special moment. That was really cool.
They really don't do like this anymore.
I don't know. They've been mixing up on the NXT. They've been kind of doing that.
You're right. Totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's been fun. I've seen that.
You know, speaking of the kiss.
Yes.
One of my favorite finishers of yours, Long Kiss Goodnight.
I know. I was trying so hard to get that over, and I'm like, I don't know.
It was so over.
It was.
With
I
the
thought
crowd.
it was over.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Did anyone backstage was like, maybe?
No, maybe not the Long Kiss Goodnight.
Were they really?
Maybe. I don't know.
How did you come up with that?
I just thought it was, I think the kiss thing was kind of started to be synonymous with me being a little bit that way. So then I just thought it was an excellent, it's already kind of a thing as well, like the Long Kiss Goodnight, right? Like what you think of for that, and then for it to be a finisher, I was like, that's cool.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll bring it back.
I know Melina wants it back, so I'm sure, Melina was
I'll
tweeting
give
about
it
like,
back.
yeah, a lot of the divas back then were like, can I do that again?
Yeah.
they were really into it.
Twice.
I was curious back in the days. You had this like on-screen fling with Cena. John Cena out of nowhere, and it kind of like got dropped.
I know.
Where was that supposed to go?
I don't really know. I don't really know where that was supposed to go or where it wasn't supposed to go. But I think obviously like we were talking or whatever at the time anyway. So
okay.
I feel like it was one of those things. I mean, that was a well-known thing, right? Like that was one of those things of like, hey, we'll try this on air. I don't know that we actually had any on-camera chemistry.
Oh.
You know, when I watch it back, I go like,
You don't feel it?
I didn't, yeah. It felt like uncomfortable, like it felt like it came off. I don't know that it came off on camera as natural.
You had so many wild moments throughout your career, from the mistletoe to kidnapping, barnyard fight. But I gotta talk about when you got murdered.
When I got pushed in front of the train.
What was that?
Why? I don't know. I just remember them like this idea of like, oh yeah, he's just gonna push you in front of a moving train.
And then you'll die.
And then you're dead. And then you die. And I'm like, yeah, my career too. That'll be fun.
So random.
No, it is one of those funny moments, but it's like, but shooting it was hilarious because we shot it behind Cummins Station where the TNA headquarters was at the time. And there was like this train, like caboose kind of, there was tracks that used to go back there for like loading docks. And so there was also like this caboose that was already parked back there, like a little food truck or something back behind it in the walking area. So there was already like the gully that I could try to fall into.
Got it.
Yeah, it was funny. I mean, we all laugh about it now. And here I came back, and I'm just a dead woman walking. Really.
Yes. Let's move to the second moment.
Okay.
It is your Falls Count Anywhere match with Melina.
This was so fun.
Yeah.
And I had so much fun wrestling with Melina. Like, she brought out the best in me, I think, and hopefully I did the same. But all of this, and God bless Fit, you know, like, all of this was, like, perfectly designed, I felt like, to incorporate the whole locker room, to have this cool locker room scene here where everybody's moment was special and it mattered. This part where Candace gets the towel, it was like the way it was.
For some reason, that was never done after that. Like the whole locker room fight. That was,
yeah. I thought it was great.
So cool.
It was so great. I think that you don't, that part though.
What happened?
That I almost died there. I legit was knocked out. Like, if you go back and if you rewind it, that had scissors. Like, I had pretty serious, like, whiplash, and I had to turn, like, I remember 3 weeks, and I was just like this. I couldn't. Like, I had serious neck strain and all of that, and I was like, oh my God. Yeah. And it was just a cue of, and we had done that move, God, 100 times, and then just one night I lawn dart myself.
But your chemistry with Melina, though, it was just
so great. She was a Hellcat. Like, everybody's style is so different, and I think that's the real magic of it, is how your styles mesh. And I think also because Melina and I had openly been very competitive our whole career, like OVW coming all the way up, like, because we were in that same position, fighting for all the same things. And I just feel like that competition yet sisterhood, like constant, like keeping each other at that level, it was great.
Wow,
it was great.
Yeah, it really was. Yeah. But speaking of Diva era, we gotta talk about some fashion. So I think the norm. Sorry,
I don't know.
My
transition.
Like,
sometimes I questioned my fashion.
I have actually a big question because in a good way, it became like a norm in wrestling where all the wrestlers now have like a base form or style for their gear, and then they kind of just do a little variant version of it.
Right.
Like, that's the norm. But you're not the norm. Throughout your career, you had vastly different styles of gear.
I did.
Yeah.
I have.
Is there a reason why you had so many different styles throughout? What's your...
I know, there's randomly in there. Believe me, if I would have picked my luchadora outfit, it would have been way better than what I wore.
What was your favorite style of gear?
Well, oh man, I love them all for different reasons, right? I felt like the skirt gimmick coming in, like for who I was playing at that time, it fit, because I was meant to be like this super fan, but obviously I'd trained wrestling.
Right.
But would I have full-on wrestling gear? Would I mean, so I was trying to think in that mindset. And so it was perfect in that sense. But the struggle was real, like, as far as with the wardrobe. A lot of times, I would have like 4 or 5 pair of boy shorts on. None of them worked half the time. It was just but I felt like it was so different too from what everybody else was wearing on television. And I always thought that was important, is like, you see a lot of the same. It's like a lot of the same shorts, tops, kick pads, and it's like, how do you step outside that mold to make yourself stand out and be different than everybody else? Right.
I personally love your hardcore country. Obviously,
it's my favorite.
Yeah.
If I had to choose one as my alt, because I feel like it's most me.
Yeah.
Like it's most who I am as a person now. And always kind of have been, but it's still fun to step outside the box. I loved the bell bottoms, and I thought the bell bottoms, the reason why I started bringing the bell bottoms back is because I needed to change away from the skirts and kind of do something and evolve, because I had turned into a baby face by proxy. Like, I was just then the baby face out of nowhere forever. And I was like, so I'm not really crazy, medicine. Anymore.
Well, finally, that hug from Trish.
It did. And it healed all my wounds. Now I'm fine. Bell bottoms was a callback to Ring of Honor days when I had my bell bottom suit outfit.
Got it.
There. So I was like, I'm going to do the bell bottoms, because I always loved how I felt like it made everything feel bigger.
Oh, yeah.
Especially like with my kicks and the head scissors out of the corner. I just felt like, oh, it's going to flow. It's going to feel bigger than what it is.
And now we see bell bottom, it's like Mickie James. Like, that's the gear that Mickie James left in the locker room. There's one time that Funkadactyls, Naomi, and Cameron was wearing bell bottoms, and they're like, Mickie loved those outfits.
I did. I love them. And I left them. Sasha put on my gear one day backstage.
Oh, okay.
She did. There's a picture out there somewhere with my pants on.
For some, it's a hot button topic. But what the Divas Championship meant to you?
I think it was such a transitional phase. Like, obviously, it meant a lot because it was the change in this new era and this new belt. And I was grateful that I got to hold it. This whole cargo... How do you feel about the cargo thing? Because those were a lot, and like it took a lot of design to go in them.
Oh, okay.
And at the time, I thought it was really, really cool. But then I look back and I go like, oh, was that cool?
Outside of hardcore country, I think that was my favorite.
You liked the cargo.
It was so cool.
It was fun. It was still different. I think that was the thing. Like, how can I still be different than everybody else?
Right.
I was like, oh, this is so different. And Terry and I would design and pick these fabrics and stuff. And they were probably some of my most expensive gear. Aside from my hardcore country jackets now. But those were probably the most expensive. And I loved them at the time because I was like, oh, nobody's wearing anything like this. And I felt, too, with the Divas era, and it was kind of trying to change and be like, okay, I'm going to, I don't know. Be this badass kind of diva.
I loved it. That was my favorite from the WWE days.
Really?
Yeah, but hardcore country is Mickie, though.
Yeah. That was like my evolution into the... almost going hardcore country.
Right.
I felt like that was that phase between those pants that were so hot to wrestle in. Like it was the hottest, like I sweated the most in that gear. I was like, why did I choose pants?
So let's move to the third moment.
Okay.
It's a bit of a time jump, but this match got me gagged. It is your hard to kill Texas death match.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Oh, Deonna. I think our whole story, the whole feud with Deonna, everything, every part of it. This was like my first hardcore match in a very, very, very long time.
That was the thing when I thought, because out of all the legends from the Diva era, we've never seen anyone be in such a hardcore match before. It was kind of a big shock to all of us.
Yeah.
The thumbtacks.
And I remember picking it out of my head, and you're like sitting there trying to pluck it out of your... I had like a pot knot, like a little lump on my head that was like raised in the back. And I always wear my little flip-do hair pony half the time. And even wearing that was painful. I was like, that's the one that hurt, the one that went into my...
I mean, but here's the thing. You already have Hall of Fame career. And you are disrupting the industry with, being the executive producer of Empower. I mean, in the most respectful way, you don't need to prove anything else. But you decided to get into this ring and put your body in this brutal, brutal match. What was your mindset heading into this match?
I mean, I felt like I did have something to prove.
Oh, okay.
Maybe to myself, maybe to everyone else, or I don't know. I wanted to deliver in that match and then back up like who I thought I felt I was, and obviously I don't think it could have been as great as it was, obviously, that whole thing without Deonna, because I just didn't feel like we had just such great chemistry as well. That whole barn scene, like where she tried to drown me in the bucket, like all the pieces to it, like it was pretty awesome. So I'm honored in that respect. But I think I came back after Empower and all of that, like I still felt like I had something to prove, I felt like I didn't have like that, even if I was going to bow out my career, I didn't feel like I had that bow on my, where I was like, okay, I can hang my hat on that or whatever. And that was good.
I also love that you brought that iconic moment with the V.
I've brought it back a couple times recently.
Okay. I know that you've talked about this before, but could you tell me what happened at that WrestleMania when you did that censored moment?
Yeah, you have to dig deep to find these days. It was not approved.
Okay. Oh, so you pitched it first?
I pitched it in a sense.
Okay.
I'll just tell whatever. So I asked if I could like lick my finger to Steve Kern, who was our agent at the time, I think. And I remember asking Steve, and he's like, "Oh, lick your finger like how?" And I was like, "Oh, because I knew I was doing this moment thing where I'm like, oh, this would be really cool. Like I felt like this would be something. In the moment, it felt like this. Was the right choice.
For that storyline,
For everything, to me. And I honestly thought I was going to come back and be like, I was going to get high-fived a race, maybe. You know, it was not. That was not the reaction I got, and I felt horrible. Like after this super huge high moment, I came and I was like, just felt so defeated. I was like, I didn't read the room right on that one at all. Like it was like.
But the fans that made that match. Yeah. So I think you made the right choice.
I think maybe I did make the right choice.
Right.
I think it was just I wasn't supposed to have that big of a moment, maybe, or like that wasn't supposed to be spotlighted on. I don't know.
Yeah.
Who cares? It was still great.
Who cares? Yeah.
Yeah, people still remember it. In fact, I'm just going to bring back everything. I'm going to get new merch.
Yeah. That's
new
a great idea.
For everybody.
Yeah. Here for it. Let's move to the fourth moment. It is your triumphant return to WWE as a Knockouts champion, breaking that forbidden door, breaking that barrier, breaking everything. And you got in there with the hardcore country music.
Crazy that we could make this happen. It was a lot. I felt like it for the time because it had never been done before.
Right.
And I'm grateful that both companies trusted me enough to hopefully do it right and try to represent myself and Impact at the time and WWE at the same time. Like it was cool that, and then now to see Jordynne go in and the ability for them to still make that happen. Like it's awesome. It's awesome. Johnny called me at first and asked if I was interested. And I was like, yeah. I was like, I am interested, but I mean, how are we thinking and we're going to present it? Like, I don't really want to come back as just like Mickie James. Like I have all this stuff going on now, and obviously I'm with Impact. And then so he's like, okay, well I'm going to call Scott. We're going to talk to Scott, and then we're going to work it out. And then Scott's like, okay, well so then what do you want? And I'm like, well I'd really I want to come out to Hardcore Country. I'm the Knockouts World Champion. Be nice if we address that. If I could come out with the belt, if I could do. And Johnny took it. He's like, okay, well I'm going to take it to Vince. And so he took it to Vince, and he came back, called me. He's like, well Vince said yes. Wow. And I was like, okay, great. It was okay, great. Awesome. Let's go. And then, obviously then you get there the day, and I'm just praying because everything, you're so used to, I guess, everything changing.
Right.
Like get there and be like, you know what, we changed our mind. So I was praying not, but it didn't happen. I think there was a little moment where during the day where they didn't want me to come out with the title, and they were like, we're not going to have you come out with the title. Like it's not.
Okay.
We're not into that. And I'm like, that's not part of the deal.
So you were fighting there backstage?
Not with fisticuffs. Oh. But there was like this moment because I think from their perspective, Charlotte was also, it was the first time a champion had been introduced. So from Vince's or whoever's perspective, it was kind of stepping on Charlotte. The fact that Charlotte was also the first time a WWE champion had stepped into the Rumble as well. But I felt like we were distant so far away. And because it was one of those things, I was like, no, this is part of the deal. This is what I asked for, and you promised me. So
I'm so glad that moment happened.
And they still did. And they were like, okay.
That was magical.
It was great. And then you think like Cody came back after that.
You opened the door.
I don't know about that. I definitely loosened it up.
Just lubricated. Just a little bit,
that handle's a bit shaky. It's a little bit wonky now.
I mean, I love this moment.
Thank you.
Outside of this Knockout Championship moment, the way that Michelle McCool came for your neck right from the start, your arch nemesis, and then the fact that Lita was the one that eliminated you. Look back for that terrible retirement.
Full circle.
Yeah.
It was those two full circle moments because obviously, towards the end of my career, the first run, it was all with Michelle and Layla. And so for her to try to come get me, I think straight out of the gate before I even got in the ring, it was cool to kind of do a clap back with her. She's amazing. And then obviously Lita, I had that match with her where she retired. So I think for her to then get rid of me, to be the one I felt like that was a really awesome full circle moment. Plus it's Amy and I love her so much, right? And I feel like I owe the world to her.
Yeah, just overall, just such a great moment. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. So, this was such a unexpected surprise that made everyone so happy. But there was a moment that was very surprising and unexpected that got people to this day what happened?
Oh, I hate it so much. Why?
I was so confused.
Yeah, so was I.
I could see it in your face.
I'm like, what? Why, bro? What the hell?
I love that sometimes you can...
My face?
Your face, it really tells a lot of stories.
Why did you do that? Why? Because I think it was... it sucks. I hate it overexposed, but I'm like, I felt like that was terrible. Like that's my, like, I'm like, God, that's awful, because then it was flat as a pancake, right?
Yeah.
Because everybody's going, huh? That was weird, because they couldn't see anything.
Even
and
the
like, what happened?
commentators.
And I was going to tap out. Clearly, I'm not trying to tell the world. I mean, obviously. But there was like this whole thing, and then she was about to cinch it back in. Like, that's literally, so he just called it probably 5 seconds too early before she actually had a chance to fully lock it in. And so I'm just like, yeah. Also, in that same match, I believe, I think it's this match, I broke my face. I broke my nose in this match. So there's this, she gives that, the knee lift, the thing, and my face, I mean, it was like cracked in, like it literally took a couple days to, and then, so if you go on my YouTube, there's like a Mickey's Nose Best where I had to get my nose fixed.
So the referee was already aware that there was an injury.
I don't think he knew that my, maybe I was, because then I look back, I go like, was I a little out of it? Maybe in the beginning, right when I got my face smashed, but then I felt like,
yeah, I mean, the match was so good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So that was kind of early on, and then did all this after, and I'm like, was I looking maybe glossy-eyed because of earlier? But yeah, I think a few days later, I called him and I go like, dude, I think my nose is broken. It looked like a fish hook. It looked like a, oh my, I need to show it to you.
Okay,
Go down, I'm going to show it to you so you understand. It was awful. And I was like, oh, frick. I broke my nose, man.
When we're talking WWE,
yeah,
Mr. Mickie James, Mr. Nick Aldis, is now the authority.
He's so hot. He's going to hate that. I don't know.
I thought you were just saying that he's hot, because he
is hot. He is handsome.
He is the authority, the GM of SmackDown. And I'm just like waiting, when is Mickie James coming in?
Oh, I don't know. I'm
That'd
so
be
proud
cool.
of him. He's doing so great. It
Yeah.
would be. I could
Yeah.
be his assistant, maybe.
Yeah. Sexy Terry.
Sexy Terry. That's my new name. Yeah.
And then take over the title, you know,
Yeah.
obviously.
Right. Because I'm the secretary, so I can just write it in. Schedule it.
It's always an opportunity there.
Well, you never know. You never know. No, I'm so proud of him. He's doing great. I think he's killing it.
Yeah. Let's move to the last moment. It is your last rodeo match with Jordynne Grace.
Yeah.
And this entrance, I'm not gonna lie, like, there are so many cool entrances, like helicopters, performers, everything. Nothing beats this one.
Look at Lisa crying. I can't.
What a special entrance that was.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It was really cool to have my chief and my tribe come down, and they were willing to come down too, and to represent my heritage. I mean, I think people, you know, it's not something like I ever came out as like the Native American girl, Princess Mickey. I think I did a match or two, like we did this reservation tour when I was young, Alexis Lurie days.
Okay.
But it wasn't, because I didn't want it to be like cartoony or, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, to be able to represent it and to do all of that and have my tribe there, it was amazing.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
I think that's my favorite entrance I've ever seen in wrestling. That
Thank
was
you.
so, like, emotional.
Thanks.
I was, like, tearing up the whole
I
time.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
You never know what the people are going to think about things like that. Know whether they're going to love it or they're going to hate it, or but everyone felt so into it. Like it was pretty it felt powerful.
It really was,
Yeah.
I mean, the storyline heading into that point was also just so powerful, but also...
Yeah, Jordynne just is incredible.
Yeah.
And I feel like as that whole last rodeo, I'm just like, I hope I can deliver. Like, I hope I can deliver with this person, because I know that they're good. I feel like the Knockouts division is one of the best divisions out there, period. And so I just felt like, okay, I need to make sure I can deliver for them, for my opponent, and for the people, you know, and to have these like awesome matches that mean something.
So Lisa crying, Victoria crying there, I think that fooled everyone because I legit thought you were retiring that day. I was like, I was ready to cry, burst into tears.
So I had to feel so bad because apparently I didn't tell Lisa that I was not retiring before. She thought that whole time, she legit thought I was retiring that night. And I'm like, Lisa, no, I've never said that I was retiring. What? She's like, I thought it was it. So sure, that's genuine emotion from one of my best friends in the world who I just adore. But yes, she's bawling her eyes out.
She fooled everyone.
I know. So now I'm kind of glad I didn't tell her because it helped.
It really did.
Really added.
I mean, so you won your Knockouts Championship here, and that, I felt like almost like it was part of your last rodeo.
It was, yeah.
It was almost felt like we're heading into your retirement, and you talked about it multiple times that you were like looking into your retirement. Now, that didn't end quite the way that you wanted because of the injury.
I know, just randomly. Against Giselle. It was in a match against Giselle that I just broke my rib, third one down out of nowhere. And I remember feeling it. And it was like a whole set of tapings. And then the following night, it was like, was it Masha Bully with the Good Hands and with myself and Dreamer?
Yeah.
That match, I was like, oh, I can't breathe. Afterwards, I was like, wow. And yeah, it broke. So I was out. I had to just relinquish. It sucked.
Yeah.
It sucked because I just won it. And it was like right after that. And I was like, man.
But you know what the silver lining is?
What?
Mickie's not retired yet. We have more matches coming up, which I'm so glad.
Although I did come back and face Trinity.
That too.
Yeah.
What a match.
And I lost.
Yeah. But that was such a great moment.
Was it? I thank you.
Yeah.
I loved wrestling her. I was so excited for a chance to finally get to be in the ring with her for more than 3 minutes, you know, and just because we've only seen each other in multi-women matches, really never a singles match. So, yeah.
That embracing at the end of the match, that was just so special.
It was special, yeah. She's special. That was a match I felt like I felt like I was disappointed in myself. I didn't feel like I delivered for her as much.
Oh. Okay.
That's my opinion, and she probably would hate me for saying that, but she's amazing, and I was just like, oh, I wanted it to be the best match ever and give her the best match ever. Also because I felt like I knew that was going to be my last match for a while.
Oh, got it.
So
I'm almost kind of happy that you ended up not retiring at the last rodeo because you got so much more to give.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm a giver.
Do you have any plans now?
Well, I'm going to obviously wrestle this match against Vix, and I'm excited about that. But I also have a lot going on at the moment.
Yeah.
I was just went to OVW, kind of in a creative director sort of way. When I get back from Australia, I'm home for a week, and then I go up to New York for the Last Match musical.
Oh, you're right.
And then they go on tour for a month and a half. So yeah.
They said no last rodeo for you. You still got a lot to give.
I go you know what, babe? I'm gonna just maybe take a step back. You got this gig now, and I want you to just go do your thing. And I'm gonna be at home with Dee, and then all of a sudden, look at all these plates, more plates.
Yeah. We're so
excited.
happy that you're still giving to the wrestling community. We want Mother Mickey to stay here with us. Well, thank you so much for counting down top 5 moments with us.
Thank you.
What do you want to tell the fans that are still to this day obsessed with you? We love you.
I love you too.
Yeah.
I love you too. No, I'm so grateful. I think that the fans remind me a lot of times. I've always said, I'm so critical of myself or whatever. You forget about a lot of the stuff you've done or whatever, and sometimes it's nice that the fans will remind you that you are special or you have had these special moments, because sometimes you forget, because life is crazy, and I'm excited to be doing. Thank you for supporting me always and everything that I do.